Speaking of Coach Beamer, how much have you leaned on him and Bud Foster?
What's great is they're still in the building a couple of days a week. And I told Coach Marv, our defensive coordinator, I said, you start scratching your head about anything, how to defend this bunch or this cluster, just go right upstairs and get Bud, you know. And you got one of the best ones ever to do it up there. So I know Coach Holt, our special teams coordinator, already has had a couple meetings with Coach Beamer.
Okay.
Get us back to some Beamer ball and making plays on special teams. So it's fantastic that those guys are still around. Yeah. And I want them to be a big part of this. I need them to be.
So much history there, and we know what, you mentioned special teams, but also the defensive side of the ball has meant to Virginia Tech for such a long time. He mentioned Dax earlier. That's a guy with a ton of passion, a ton of heart. I mean, the grit that he has, what's it been like getting to know him and then seeing what he brings, not just to the field, but to that locker room and the way he energizes guys around him? You know,
guys like Dax and Silas and Kate, those guys, they can make or break the transition. Those guys have been through a tough time. They had a coaching change in the middle of the season. And, they could have the defense mechanisms up and really kind of touch and go with a new staff, but they embraced us. They embraced me. There was a lot of trust out the gate that gave this a chance to really get going and get going quickly. That the time to build the relationship and the trust was cut down because of the maturity and the disposition of those guys. Dax has every intangible you could want in a guy. I mean, he checks all the boxes that way. And you can coach him hard and you can be forthright with him. And, we pride ourselves in our program on having hard conversations. And we don't steer away from them. We know we're going to be better for them. We just got to get through them. And guys like that, the maturity they have and Dax embodies all that, they're invaluable.
Now, I've told you this before. I'm married to a Hokie, so my wife, even today, she goes, are you going to have Coach Pry on? I said, oh, yeah, he'll be. She goes, you tell Coach that, we're fired up. So I kind of feel indirectly tied into your program in some shape, way, or form. But it looked like you guys were having a blast in the spring game. I know that coming through the tunnel, it still wasn't the day. Was it the fall and Hokie Nation going nuts at Lane Stadium? But still, the turnout was great. You had a great competition. Your quarterbacks played well. I know you still want to get guys on the ground because you're a defensive guy. But that had to be a great feel, right?
It was awesome.
It wasn't the real thing yet, but, man, coming through that tunnel, given what that entrance is all
We had
about.
one small snafu. Dax saved the day. I mistimed the inner Sandman. I'm like standing in the tunnel. And Dax is like pushing me from the back. He's like, Coach, you got to go. So he got me right. It was a trial run for me. But I'll tell you what else was awesome was all the lettermen we had back for the spring game. It was outstanding. I tell them all the time, it's more of their program than it is ours. It's more your program.
Yeah.
And when you come back in town, it's the orange and maroon carpet, man. We need you to do this. I want you to be part of it. So we love our lettermen, and that day was special because there was a ton of great ones there.
Yeah. And, Coach, you went and talked to the Corps Cadets. My sister was the battalion commander at one point there at Virginia Tech, so that means a lot to me. Why was that important to you to get out and do it early? It was one of the first things you did.
Yeah, it was, I think it's one of the special things about Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
That core, man, when you see him, when you're down on that field and you look up in the stands and you see that core, it kind of grabs you. And I want them to be part of this with us. I think it's unique. It's part of the fabric of Virginia Tech. And it can be an asset for our football program like it is for our university. So I've been out there a couple times. They wanted me to do a run with them. I said no to that. I said I'll come out and rah-rah anytime you want, but I'm not putting the running shoes on with y'all.
Yeah, and wide receiver Jaden Blue, he's been through some stuff. I'm not going to divulge in anything, but just the way that he was able to lean on you guys told me so much about you and the program that you're building before I even met you. Can you speak on his strength as a player and as a person?
Yeah, Jaden has been an inspiration to all of us. Just a terrible, terrible tragedy that he went through this spring, early spring. Hadn't been with us very long. And, what he was dealing with, his family was dealing with, he just kept pouring out to us how appreciative he was, how much we meant to him. He was so thankful. He was concerned about his teammates, concerned about the staff. He's a very selfless individual, true colors in a true hardship. And, I'm very thankful that he's part of our program. We've had a lot of people that have put our arms around him and been supportive. And all I want to do is see that young man have success. And he's working that way, and I think big things will come for him.
See that emotion that you bring, you could tell that you care about these players, and you just met him. So I can't imagine a guy that's been there for 4 years, 4 and 5 years. So I'm thankful we got you as our
I
head coach.
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Coach, we appreciate the time, and we're looking forward to it. I know you touched on quite a few things there, but that really is what it's all about, is the relationships with the players and
That's
what you
right.
guys are able to pour back into them, and so I know that means a lot. But looking forward to seeing what you guys do this season, Coach.
Appreciate y'all, too.
Midnight Rider.
All right, man. Let's get your wife on the phone.
You got